Hello, viewers. Welcome to my channel, Sensor 360 Investor. In this video, we're going to focus in on the equities segment within our 360-degree framework for investing and trading. Before I begin, a quick word about the disclaimer. Channel's not providing financial advice. Please pause, read through this, and then continue. Okay, so without much further ado, let's begin the show. Today's video, we're going to focus in on the Mad Money show. This is a pretty popular show hosted by a fairly colorful character, which most people know, Jim Cramer. So we'll take a look at some of his stock recommendations and what they are, what he's been kind of recommending in his club, etc. And let's take a look to see how those are panning out. And if you want to watch the TV show as on CNBC daily afternoon if you're in the West Coast. So it's worth taking a peek, but this is the image for it. Okay, before I take a look at the stocks, a quick word about the viewership. So Kramer and Company was his fund back in the day, 80s, where he made his name. It was from all reports that I can see, he was pretty successful, which led him to becoming the host of the show. Between the period 2005 to 8, I think the show peaked around 386,000 viewers per night. And more recently, leading up to like the COVID in 21, that's dropped to about 176,000. So there's been a significant viewership reduction. But however, even so, it's a well-known fact that when he recommends stocks, there is something called the Cramer effect or Cramer bounce, which means stock usually goes up in the short term. And he owns stocks in a charitable trust, but does not admit to owning individual stocks himself. So let's review some of the recommended stocks and see how that's been working out. Okay, so we're here. We have on the left panel, we have a list of the the stocks that have been mentioned or recommended within his club, and then we've got some other columns which we'll touch upon later. Then on the right side, we have the chart, and this is initially sorted by highest capitalization to lowest capitalization in this list. So let's take a look. The first stock is Apple, and we can see that over a 5-year, 1 year. So this is a 5-year return, 1-year return, year to date, 6 months return, and 3 months return. And then this indicator here kind of shows if the stock is in a bullish or non-bullish pattern. So if it's got a green tick, that means it's got a strong technical action going on as well. So clearly with Apple, we can see everything's green. So that's actually a good holding, and we can see how the stock has done well and coming up to back to its old highs, close to it. So that's a good one. If we look at Microsoft, again, it's green across the board. And the top two are 2 trillion plus. Again, Microsoft's done well, so that's been a good stock. Google, this is now waking up late to the party. So it's got one red 1-year performance, which is going to be, that's over the calendar year, so that's going to count against it. So this is still got some ways to catch up, but certainly over a year to date, 6 months and 3 months, and this has improved over the last week significantly. So that's doing well. Nvidia, again, green across the board, almost 800 billion market cap. And this one's ramped up higher from its lows. So that's done well. Meta, which has been a kind of a turnaround bounce, that's had a super performance. So that's actually improved significantly. Eli Lilly, with their Alzheimer's drug, has been rocketing up. So this is also good. And then Walmart, retailer, this is done pretty good. It's had a few nasty pullbacks. And then on to financial company, MasterCard. And this one also had a nice bounce from the October lows, and green across the board. So these top 8 stocks have done exceptionally well in terms of their returns. and we can see that year-to-date returns 34, 33, 38. Nvidia's doubled, Meta's doubled from the lows. Eli's up 20%, and Walmart's up 5. The Mastercard about 11. So nothing shabby here. And moving on down the line, so Chevron, which would have done well because of the oil sector. This one now it's in kind of a short-term decline, and we can see that this year energy stock Chevron hasn't done that well. Broadcom had a nice move recently, and as a semi, this one's actually done pretty good. So the numbers improved over from their last week's. We'll come back to SPY. BV. So now we show negative all year, just like Chevron. So not so good performance here. Costco mixed performance here. It's just kind of digesting sideways. Salesforce, again, another one green across the board. Nice bounce, nice move up from its earnings. Cisco, almost all the way across green, but not quite. And we can see it's not quite in a strong technical pattern either. Abbott, again, some performance lacking here, but not in an uptrend. Lin, this one's green across the board, nice uptrend. AMD, same thing, green across the board, nice move, although it's had some deep pullbacks along the way. Disney, we can see erratic performance. The stock is still heading down. That's why it's red here. Danaher, he was pretty hot on this one for a while, but we can see it's clearly a downtrend. It's red across the board. Wells Fargo Bank is red across the board in the downtrend. UPS, red across the board here, downtrend. Morgan Stanley, banking financials, we can see this year's performance. No bueno. Honeywell, again, same thing. So the industrials, financials not holding up too well. Boeing. So this one's nicely off the lows, but kind of creeping slightly down. It's now not in a bullish pattern anymore. UNP clearly downtrending, red across the board here. Estee Lauder, which has come down, big gap down here, probably in earnings miss, but we can see red across the board here on multiple time frames, calendar, year to date, 6 months and 3 months. And PayPal, same thing. This one's just been a total disaster. Ford, same thing. Marvel is starting to turn a little bit, so we can see here's a little turn going up. So maybe there's some strength if it can get above that level there. Nucor, which he was always on, this one of his favorite stocks. We can see it's been from the beginning of the year coming back down. So commodities were running when inflation was high, but as we can see, commodity stocks have weakened. So we're seeing that with general basic materials, commodities, and energy. And then we've got DuPont, another industrial, not doing so well. That's actually chemicals, yeah. And then wind resorts. This is a nice one, but it's kind of pullback correction is now taking it back towards this average, is just holding on. Gen Digital, this is just down, no good. And then American Eagle, again, overall downtrend. So this retailer and other retailers like it, not performing too well. So we can see that roughly 14 out of this list of 35 are doing well, and the rest are not. And if we look at and since we don't know when when exactly he put these on, because that would obviously change it. So if we just look at from a 3-month perspective, we can see roughly 16 stocks have got positive performance. or 6 month perspective, slightly better with 19 stocks with a positive performance. And year to date, Ford's just crept up. So we've got 20 stocks out of 35 with positive performance. So depending on which time frame we look at, and also depending on when the stocks were put on, this gives us an idea of how it's doing. But on the downside, there are some deep uh, red losses as well. So if we look in comparison to since the SPY year-to-date numbers not here, so let's take a look at the 6 month. Let's take a look at the 1 year calendar first. So relative to the SPY, a large part of his selections have outperformed the S&P Y. And if we look at it a 6 month performance, then we can see that only 15 stocks out of 35 are beating the SPY. And if we look over the last 3 months, we can see that only 12 stocks have beaten it. And when we look at these 12 stocks, well, what we can see is that they're pretty much all tech and health, apart from Lin is MasterCard. So dominant sector is technology, and he's in most of the large mega caps, which pretty much everybody's in. It's widely owned, Apple and Microsoft, Nvidia, and Google. So they are owned by pretty much everybody out there. Okay, so that's a review of the stocks in his list. Okay, so jumping back to presentation. So that gives you an idea of the stocks that Kramer's been recommending and how they've performed. So check out his show if you kind of liked the selection of stocks that he's been talking about. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you are a subscriber, please do subscribe, like, and share. And I will see you next time on the next video. Goodbye.